Look, I don't normally comment or make videos about huge news stories, especially when it's not directly related to precious metals such as gold, silver, and others, or numismatics. That being said, many of you have asked for my input on the Liberty Safe thing, and I figured I would cover it in today's video, and additionally tell you a little bit about the things that I'm doing since that whole news story has kind of broke. So that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna go over what happened. I'm gonna tell you my thoughts, my opinions, and then we are going to tell you what I am doing. So make sure you stick with me if you want to hear all of that, and additionally, don't forget to subscribe to help us continue to grow the channel. Make sure you don't miss out on your chance to win a full monster box of Silver Eagles by going to our sponsor sdbullion.com/silverseeker and get your entry today. So listen, many people store their gold and silver in safes. I totally get it, because the old adage of if you don't hold it, you don't own it 100% rings true when it comes to precious metals, because the truth is if you're keeping your gold and silver in an offsite storage facility, or if you're keeping it in even a safety deposit box, you may not always be able to get it whenever you need it, or even worse, who knows, there have been recent stories in the past of where a company has basically, and I covered this, a couple of months back, basically they kept gold and silver in an offsite storage facility, and when they got audited, the gold and silver wasn't there, and a lot of people lost a lot of money. So they don't trust keeping it elsewhere. They trust keeping it by their side. So they put a lot of trust in safes. One of the companies that they put their trust in is Liberty Safe Company. Now, Liberty Safe Company released this statement, and I'm going to touch on this, and we don't read news here, guys. We are not your news readers. You can read this all on your own. It's right there on Twitter. There's been tons of news articles covering this, but I will break it down for you. Essentially, the FBI requested from Liberty Safe access codes to a safe that was on a property that they had a warrant to search. No subpoena was issued, nothing at all. It was just a request, which Liberty Safe happily agreed to do. And in fact, they said that is something that they do whenever requested by a government agency. That being said, they did say they're going to update their policies, but before we even get into their updated policies, listen, guys. If the FBI or a government agency wants to get into your safe, I assure you that getting a backup access code not being able to get one, I should say, isn't going to keep them out. If they have a warrant to search the contents of your safe and you don't give them the code, they're going to get into it anyway through very destructive means. So the fact that Liberty Safe gave the FBI the code, as it says in right here, is really upsetting for a number of reasons, but it wouldn't have prevented the end result anyway. So just keep that in mind. That being said, many people were really, really upset when they found out that Liberty did this, and there's a number of reasons, and I totally agree with those reasons. One of them, it appears, and keep in mind, I am not a Liberty Safe owner myself, so I don't know if there's some sort of documentation that you sign when you purchase your safe or whatever it may be. I have no idea. But it appears that the majority of Liberty Safe customers did not even know that backup codes existed, and they felt like their safety and trust that they put into the safe was betrayed by Liberty Safe even having backup access codes in the first place. But as Liberty Safe goes on to say in their statement that, and I'm going to read this right here, they released a statement saying that they're going to change their policies. Liberty Safe specifically said, Liberty Safe has long adhered to industry standards, guys, quote unquote, industry standards, by maintaining a secure database of factory set combinations. So in other words, Liberty Safe knew or has always done this, and they're saying that this is an industry standard. So other safe companies also know, which is what I was trying to say, also know your backup safe combinations to your safe. So even if you change the number on your own, they know a code that's going to get you in no matter what. Now, I'm assuming that the number is different for each safe. I assume there's not just a master code that works on every single safe, because that would be absolutely even more dangerous than this already is, to a dishonest, I will say, employee that might have access to said code, sharing it with others, or whatever it may be. But even the fact that there's a database that could possibly be accessed. I mean, we know how data breaches have been in the past that has these backup codes is really scary. So again, we're not your news readers. You can read the rest of this. It's on Twitter right now, or X as they call it. Page 2 right here of this new statement. It says, effective immediately, as existing customers can visit libertysafe.com, blah, 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 and fill out the form to have records of their access codes expunged. Now, the reason that Liberty Safe kept these codes on file is so that people that lost their code, or there was a malfunction with their safe that didn't allow them to get into their safe at all, would be able to access it with this backup master code, which they could get, which the person could get by request. So you could ask that that code is expunged and they no longer have it, which is a new policy, by the way. It's not something they've always done. This is new. This is their response to the outrage, which, by the way, I will give Liberty credit for responding to the outrage as opposed to just ignoring it for months like Bud Light before they finally make a statement and watching, their company go down into the toilet. We're not going to get into that here because that's not something that this channel covers, but you get the idea. So I will give Liberty Safe credit for that. But yeah, you can actually get your safe code expunged now, which is good. And they're going to give this option to new customers as well. And then finally here, and keep in mind, all these highlights that you're seeing in these are highlighted by me. This wasn't highlighted parts of their post. But it says, we have also revised our policies, and this is something I think is important as well. We have also revised our policies around cooperation with law enforcement. Going forward, we will require a subpoena that legally compels Liberty Safe to supply access codes, but can only do so if these codes still exist in our system. So what they're saying is that, listen, if we get a subpoena saying that we legally have to give them the codes, we will, but only if they're in our system. So if you feel comfortable making sure that you never lose your code and there's always a backup for it without your safe having to get completely destroyed, and it will take some time. Safes are not easy to get into, but with enough time and enough tools, you can get in any safe. But if you're willing to take the risk of, not being able to get in your safe if you lose that code or forget the code, or if there's a malfunction, whatever it may be, and that code is no longer in their system, then the subpoena is not going to matter anyway. So basically Liberty is saying, listen, we screwed up. This is what we're going to do. And I give props to Liberty, even though I think the whole situation is ridiculous anyway. And the fact that they so easily gave that code to the FBI is ridiculous. It doesn't matter who it was or what the situation was. The fact that they did it so easily and freely, I get why people are outraged. So you're probably wondering at this point what you should do from here on out. And guys, I'm not going to tell you that, but what I will do is tell you what I'm going to do. And if you decide to do that, that's totally fine. Now, keep in mind what I'm about to tell you doesn't mean I'm enlightened or I'm all knowing or I've been doing this forever. The truth is, because I'm always honest with you guys, is that I didn't even realize that these are things that I should be doing until I read this. So what I'm going to do going forward is if there's any external view of my serial number on the outside of my safe anywhere, it's gone. Whether it's the removal of a sticker, a plaque, a metal plate, or if I just have to get a grinder and grind it out of the metal, there will be no more external view of my serial number. Now, inside of the safe is a little bit different because once you're there inside the safe, whatever. But outside of the safe, you don't want anyone to be able to access that serial number and then use that information to gather or gain access to your safe by getting a code like what happened with Liberty Safe here. Number 2, don't tell anybody that you have a safe or that you have gold and silver. Now, you're probably looking at me and thinking, man, that is kind of stupid because here you are in front of a camera telling people that you're a gold and silver stacker. And that, guys, is why all of my gold and silver, outside of a little bit that I use in my videos, isn't anywhere near me. So I do that for a reason. And the reason is because I get in front of the camera. I don't tell people where my gold and silver are. I don't even tell people on this channel how I store my gold and silver. People have asked me before, Seeker, what do you do? I'm not going to tell you because I'm not going to tell people where my gold and silver is or how I store my gold and silver because that's not safe for me. And it's not safe for me to keep gold and silver around me if I'm in front of a camera telling people, hey, I have gold and silver. But for you, if you're not a YouTuber, if you're not doing this for a living, just don't tell people it's there. Don't tell people you have a safe in your garage or in your basement or whatever it may be. Don't tell them it exists. Cover it with something. If that way, if somebody comes by and they just see this thing, maybe they think it's old furniture. Who knows? My point is, and I'm going to tell you this, and we're going to go into the next point, and then I'll get off of here because I know you're probably tired of me talking at this point. My point is that if one person knows, this is something my dad used to tell me when he was alive, and this, you guys should hear this out. I don't know if it's his quote or not. It may not be. He probably heard it from somewhere else. But he used to tell me, if one person knows, it may as well be 100 people. And the reason that rings true is because you don't know. You could be like, oh, I have this really good friend. I'm going to show him this really cool safe that I got. I'm going to tell him about gold and silver. And to get him in gold and silver, I'm going to show him my gold and silver. Well, you don't really know who that husband or that friend is going to tell because maybe he's married and he tells his wife. That's why I said the word husband there on accident. Maybe he's a married man and he's a husband to somebody who he then goes home and tells his wife. you know, be like, hey, don't tell anyone this, but man, he's got this really cool safe, right? And I want to get one too. I'd love to get a safe like his. And then the wife's like, oh, that's really cool. Maybe I should tell my friends, hey, did your husband have a safe like this? Because my husband said this guy has one and he wants one too. My point is you don't know, even if it's inadvertently, where the information goes. So as soon as one person knows, it may as well be 100 people, so just don't tell them. And now the next thing I'm going to do is change to the combination of my safe, as I'm going to change the combination. Now I'm going to do this myself, but if you need to hire a locksmith, let's say, to do this, make sure you trust the locksmith, because it goes back to what I just said. If one person knows your combination, 100 people may as well know your combination. That being said, unlike you know, saying, hey, so-and-so has this really cool safe, and then it kind of spreads, you know, there would actually have to be ill intent from a locksmith to share your combination with someone else, but you get the point. If one person knows, 100 people may as well know. So that's the 3 things that I'm going to do. If you do it, that's totally up to you. So that's basically what I had for you guys. And if you keep your gold and silver in a safe, hopefully this information helped you just a little bit. I'm sure most of the people that watch this already knew about the story, but I hope that my perspective and my thoughts were something that you were interested in. And if you guys like this video and if you want to see more like it, leave a comment and hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe. That helps this video get shared to others. Additionally, watch this video right here if you want to see that video I talked about where the offsite storage facility didn't have any gold in it that was supposed to be there. Guys, we will see you in the next video, and you have a fantastic rest of your day.